Don't be afraid to walk away. Like sometimes you feel like you're being a coward for walking away, but you're actually courageous. That's a courageous thing to say, you know what? Let me just walk away from this right now.
Yeah.
To protect your peace.
To protect your peace.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm walking away from this party. I'm walking away from this group. I'm walking away from this environment. I'm walking away from this job. I'm walking away. All these things that are damaging your peace. You're like, it's not worth my peace. I'm going to take a $5,000 pay cut and go over here because I'm not working in this environment anymore.
Right.
So don't be afraid to walk away.
And then when you've had a moment, you can come back and be like, let me tell you something. Right?
No.
Okay.
If you're a go-getter, faith-driven and family-focused and need to break through to your next level, this is the podcast for you. Your self-talk can reshape every area of your life. It's time to dream and think big. Welcome to the Self-Talk Experience with Darnell and Tracy Self. It's time to elevate, baby. Let's get into the show.
Hey, welcome to the Self-Talk Experience. I'm Tracy Self.
And I'm Darnell Self.
The self-talk experience, where the things you say to yourself about yourself will eventually attract who or even what you have for yourself.
Hey guys, so we are excited about another episode of the Self-Talk Experience because we feel like through our experience, that's why it's called the Self-Talk Experience, that when you reshape your thoughts and you say better things to yourself, then you attract better things. And one of the things that we can all do in order to make sure that we're saying the best things possible to ourselves is to protect our peace.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah. So I wrote down a few things that I thought would be helpful in all of us, you and I included, protecting our peace so that we are in a position where there's fertile ground to sow positive seeds in our minds about ourselves so that we're saying the best things to ourselves.
Well, one of them I know definitely could be meditation.
Yeah.
I do meditate. I try to do it every day, but some days I don't remember or fall off to do it. But the one I did yesterday, the affirmation was, I will not value what is valueless. And just to think about, it puts things in perspective when you meditate on that, because you really focus in on what you think is valuable, and you kind of have to think to yourself, what I think is valuable, is that really valuable? You know, and sometimes you have to take a step back and say, I don't think I should put my value in that place at this time, right?
Yeah.
So it was a really good kind of a self-reflection.
Yep.
But sometimes when you meditate, it could be for 2 minutes, it could be for 20 minutes. But just to take that time, because sometimes it'll put you in a different place. So when you do walk out the door, or when you do have to send that email, or when you do get that phone call, you're at a place of peace in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know how we always talk about starting your day at 110% or
Yep.
115. So if you fall off a little bit, you're still going to land at 95 or 100, right? So sometimes that helps me to just kind of center myself to start my day.
Yeah.
And also, you don't have to do it in the mornings. You can do it sometimes in the middle of the day, because maybe you're going down and you feel yourself at 80. You're like, oh, I did do my meditation. So you can take yourself back up to where you want to be, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be in the morning. I just like to do it in the morning, but I think that's a great...
I've never heard you say that, and that's because you heard it yesterday. Yeah. But I mean, to me, that says that if things are valueless, then why am I putting my energy there?
Exactly.
It brings no value back to me. So why am I investing energy in it when there's no return on that investment?
Right. And sometimes you're moving so fast, you're not thinking, you're stopping to think.
Good point.
I don't put value there anymore, actually.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't.
Right.
That shouldn't be my focus. Right
and you
now.
know what you just said? Anymore. Because certain things that used to be valuable are now valueless. To
That's
you
true.
in this season.
That's very true.
Right. So we also have to appreciate and respect that as well. That's good. So meditation, guys. So, spend some time with yourself. And I know you have certain audios you listen to and affirmations you listen to in this quiet time.
Yeah.
So different people meditate differently. Some people are stretching while they're doing that, or some type of yoga with a yoga pose. So, do what's best for you in that time of meditation. But that is a way to protect your peace. Yeah.
Well, you made me think about something too, taking time for yourself, because you made me think about yoga. So we took some time for ourselves this past Mother's Day, and we did aerial yoga. But again, that was another opportunity to just center and meditate and just focus in. So that was kind of double, taking time for myself and also meditation at the same time, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, that's a big one though, right?
Yeah, taking time for yourself.
Taking time for yourself. So, and even though it was you and your sister and your niece and our daughter and your mom, you know what I mean? And so even though it's taking time for yourself, it's taking time away from your hectic day, things you would normally do.
Taking time away from stress or just thinking about
you don't have your cell phone on.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And sometimes when we say take time for ourselves, we think it has to be this big, I have to have a spa appointment and I have to go on vacation. It really doesn't. Taking time for yourself could be sitting in your room and watching your favorite show for an hour uninterrupted because you're taking time for yourself, whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's just the focus is on you, not a whole bunch of other people.
Exactly right. Just relaxing your mind.
Yeah. I don't know.
You think?
I mean, I like the blue waters in the spa.
Yes.
So, I
no,
mean,
you definitely need that too. But sometimes if you can't, you still have to take time
I'm
for
messing
yourself
with you.
in between those times.
Right. You know, one of the things that I saw in this article about how to protect your peace, it says connect with nature. Like some people actually like hiking. Some people actually like me, I like water. I like to hear the waves crashing in. Like if I'm in an oceanfront property, I will actually leave the door slightly cracked so that I can hear the water come in, right? Or the ocean crashing, the waves crashing on the beach. And so for me, that is, for me, peaceful. And so, connect with nature, whatever that means to you. And sometimes it's just a walk, walk through the neighborhood. And you may not be talking to a whole lot of folks while you're doing that, but it's just, it's a moment.
Your time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So connect with nature if you like to. Some folks are like, I'm not connected with nature. We're just giving you some options here because what you'll find too, and some of the things that we'll share with you today, you'll find because you're taking time for yourself and because you're protecting your peace, you'll actually start to shift your self-talk during those times.
Yes.
During the times when you're meditating, during the times where you're connecting with nature, and during the times where you're taking time out for you.
Right.
You'll start to say things like, I deserve this.
Right.
I love this. And you might even look in the mirror and say, I love me. You know what I mean? And if maybe you're in an oceanfront property and you don't normally do that because you've taken time for you away from your hectic schedule, running your business or around the kids or whatever you're doing, you're like, you know what? I deserve to live like this more often.
Well,
now that's your self-talk.
Yeah, everything moves so fast. And sometimes you look up and you're so exhausted and you're so spent. You realize you haven't taken time for you.
Yeah.
And it's not selfish.
Yeah.
Because you can't function for everyone else if you're not okay.
Yeah. Which is also important because sometimes we think about protecting our peace. We think, oh, that doesn't include my family. Doesn't include my parents, my kids, siblings. But your family and friends, to protect your peace, you also have to make sure that your family and friends understand the boundaries.
Well, yeah.
So that has to be respected too. Like for me, when I was, juggling a lot of different things, it was important that the family knew what my boundaries were so that I felt like this is my moment to still take a second. Otherwise, the family not knowing are the ones who's actually interfering with the peace that you need to be able to provide for the family, to be able to be who you are as mom to the family. So sometimes we have to articulate that and to be able to express that to family so the family knows, hey, this is my boundary. These are my boundaries here.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who drive you crazy the most. I mean, not my family,
right?
But some other people's families.
So, no, and look, and this goes in every area.
True. I mean, I'm just saying people that are in your space the most, because that's who you communicate the most with and who you're around the most.
Yep.
And sometimes they need a break from you too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, it's true. And it really, this goes in every area of our lives. We're talking about protecting our peace right now, but like I do a training, a coaching call with the Zoom call with the team every Sunday evening. So the family, they knew that boundary.
Yes.
They knew that, hey, look, at 8:00, Dad's going to be on this call and now Zoom. So no one ever asked, hey, can you pick me up from the airport at this time? Can we go to this party at this time? We just arranged everything around that because that was a piece of...
that was your boundary.
Exactly. And I said it.
And we were taught to respect it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important. Like if the family doesn't know, you can't say, well, they won't even let me do this. And that's my time. Well, have you ever communicated that?
Right.
And was it communicated effectively?
Right.
You know, so that's the way I looked at it. So,
and also when you say quiet on the set, that means be quiet because he's about to record. So whatever you're saying could be recorded. So he says quiet on the set.
I do, because social media is a part of my business too. It's part of my marketing. So I'm like, hey, I just say, and so people can continue to talk, but just know that I'm recording at that time. So, you know, quiet on the set just means that whatever you say right now could be held against you in the court of law. No, but point is that I normally put music over it, but you're absolutely right. And, you know, I should do like that in the car.
Oh, when you did this, the kids knew. And now the grandkids know when he does this, that means
I'm on a conference call.
Quiet.
Like it gets quiet right there.
Quiet.
So anyway, so
we know your boundaries.
I also wrote down, say no when you need to protect your peace.
Well, you always say no is a complete sentence.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I've gotten much better at saying no.
Well,
I'm not the only one. There's a lot of folks who just say yes to everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can do it. And they know it's really not a possibility, but they're going to rearrange all these other things and stress themselves out. Don't get me wrong. There's some days where, because it's a family member, because it's something you really want to be able to do for someone, you just, you know, you're back to back all day. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we're talking about protecting your peace. And so sometimes you just have to say no, right? And it's not that you can't do it. You just choose not to do it.
Right.
And I think that's important.
Right.
Right. So, so that's, you know, that's key, I think, for a lot of us as busy people,
right,
to be able to say, no, I can't do it, but I can do it Friday. So there's nothing like offering another option, because sometimes people are asking you for a time and for a day and for a moment on your calendar that's best for them. And if you're protecting your peace, you have to say what's best for you.
That's so true. Yes.
Right. So I can't do Tuesday, but I can do Friday. Let them rearrange, because we're talking about protecting your peace, not their peace.
And it's not something you're not willing to do.
Right, exactly.
But just not at that time.
Exactly right. Yeah, I just need some help moving this furniture. Hey, Wednesday, I can't, but I can do. So you can always offer up another time. But be afraid. Don't be afraid to say no. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And just because I have availability on my calendar doesn't mean that I'm actually available. Right. So sometimes, you know, that moment is a moment that you need to yourself.
That is your time.
That is your time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also wrote down, stand up for yourself. So sometimes things are happening, and when the conversation's over, the crowd disperses, people are left to believe a certain thing about you because you never stood up for yourself and said, actually, that's who I used to be, is not who I am anymore.
But sometimes, is it okay if the moment isn't right to come back later?
Absolutely right.
And do it?
Absolutely right.
Sometimes it could be tricky.
Yep.
And if you're in certain situations or certain environments, to address it.
Absolutely right. Yep. But the key is just to stand up for yourself so that people know, hey, look, this is the person that I am. That's not even me anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Stop saying that.
Like, let's say for 10 years straight, you were late to everything. You were late. It doesn't matter what it was. If it was your funeral, you'd be late to that. It's just, you'd be late to everything, right? But the bottom line is, let's say that you with self-talk, like, I arrive on time, and to me, on time is early, and you shifted that. And all of a sudden, for the last 2 years, you've been early to most things. But when you're in the crowd, they're like, oh, you know, Tracy's going to be late. She's always going to be late. And you're right. At that moment, maybe it's not the right time. But at some point, you may have to stand up for yourself to protect your peace, because you were triggered when that was happening. Because this is hypothetical. I know you weren't really triggered. This didn't happen, by the way. Because, you know, if you don't say that, somebody's going to say, oh, I remember that. No, you don't, because I just made it up. So, but if you're not careful, you're triggered in that moment because you're thinking, they only see me for who I used to be. Like, they don't even respect my growth. And I got significant growth gain. And they're not even appreciating it.
Yes.
So now you're upset about that because you never stood up for yourself.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Later on, you never said, hey, just so you all know, that's who I used to be.
Do you have to say it nicely, or can you still be like, let me tell you something?
Well, that brings up the next one. Don't be afraid to walk away. Like sometimes you feel like you're being a coward for walking away, but you're actually courageous. That's a courageous thing to say, you know what? Let me just walk away from this right now.
Yeah.
To protect your peace.
To protect your peace.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm walking away from this party. I'm walking away from this group. I'm walking away from this environment. I'm walking away from this job. I'm walking away. All these things that are damaging your peace. You're like, it's not worth my peace. I'm going to take a $5,000 pay cut and go over here because I'm not working in this environment anymore.
Right.
So don't be afraid to walk away.
And then when you've had a moment, you can come back and be like, let me tell you something. Right?
No.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to say it like that. You can say, hey, listen, can I offer some feedback?
Yes.
You got to do all that.
Offer some feedback. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
One of the 4 agreements is don't take it personally. So to protect your peace, one of the things you want to do is make sure you don't take it personally. Like oftentimes it's not about you. You're like, yeah, I bet they meant this. And if they would have done this, then I would have definitely known. Well, listen, you're making it all about you. And don't take it personally. They don't even, if they knew what you were thinking, they would say to you, like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even remember that moment.
But what if it is about you? What if you should take it personally? Then what do? Then you could be like, let me tell you something, right?
Yes, then you go back and you stand up for yourself.
Okay.
Right. But you have to communicate that.
Weren't you talking about me?
No. Well, yes, you want to ask questions.
No,
but I wouldn't say weren't you?
I know you.
When you said such and such, I felt like that was personal. I felt like you were talking to me. And it hurt my feelings.
Yes.
Like, well, I wasn't talking about you. I was actually sharing this because of what I went through last year. And I don't know if you remember. And you're like, oh. Or they can say, yeah, I was talking about you because and you better be ready for it if you're going to bring it up.
I was going to say that might not be the answer you want or expecting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. You ever had a situation like that?
No.
Okay. That was too fast of an answer. Okay. So.
Nothing I want to talk about on self-talk. No, I'm kidding. No.
Okay. I can bring up some stories.
Please don't.
If I could remember them. Unfortunately, I don't have a great memory.
I think it serves you well, though.
It does.
I do.
It does. It probably gives
you
me
remember
peace.
you remember what's important, but I think you protect. It may be a mechanism that you don't even realize you have that's protecting your peace.
Yeah, that's
that you
that's what I
don't
was
remember a lot of, just for lack of a better word,
Frivolous.
just crap.
Yeah, just stuff.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. People are like, you don't know that this person was this person and this person divorced this person. I'm like, I have no idea. And then people are like, hey man, I know we had a wedge in our relationship 14 years ago. And I'm like, we did. Some of this happened to me in Rockville, in Maryland. Yeah, like a month ago.
Oh no.
And I felt so bad because the guy,
the person had been holding on to it. You didn't even realize it.
And he apologized and everything.
Oh no.
And he was like, I thought certain things about you. I even said certain things about you.
Really?
Yes. He said, then I found out they weren't even true.
Wow.
And he's like, so it was hard for me to respect you based on what I thought. And I was like, hey, I didn't say, so what was it? Like, tell me, because I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. I don't sweat the small stuff. I was like, well, I don't remember our conversation because he said we had a conversation. I was like, I don't remember it, but I appreciate you saying it, man. I appreciate your apology. And it's accepted because I don't even recall it.
I mean, I wonder how often that happens.
Oh, I'm sure a lot.
And you'll never know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Man.
Another way to protect your peace is be grateful for what you have. Sometimes our peace is disturbed because we're spending more time focused on what someone else has
Right.
and what we don't have, or what we wish we had, regardless of what someone else has. And we forget. Nothing wrong with that, by the way, because I'm a big goal setter. I'm a big dreamer. So I'm always thinking about what the next step is and the next level. So there's nothing wrong with that. But only if it stops you from being ungrateful, what you currently have.
Right. That's good.
All right. So that's why being grateful has to be top of mind so that we don't become ungrateful, wishing things were different.
Well, that's easy.
Right.
Because you see so much.
Yeah.
You see so much.
I know. So it's easy to fall
and if
into
your
that,
self-talk isn't where it should be, it'll get in your head.
Right. And here's the thing, because there's nothing wrong for wishing things to be better. In every area, you want your relationships to be better. You want your finances to be better. You want your health to be better. You should want all those things to be better. but not at the risk of being ungrateful for the health you do have,
Right.
for the relationships you do have, for the right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the key there to that piece is, yes, you want to protect your peace. And yes, you want to, it's nice. I shouldn't say you want to. It's nice to want more and better. Nothing wrong with that at all. But again, just remember to be grateful for where you currently are.
Yeah, and just focusing on what's working right now and not focus on what's not.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
just hone in on what
That's good
is
self-talk.
good. And I know you have to work on what's not going well,
Yeah.
but don't focus on it.
Yeah.
Put your focus on the
Yeah,
good.
that's good self-talk. And
Yes.
even to piggyback off of that, and even to let go of all negative. Right? So what's negative in our life that we can just let go and say, let me let that go.
It's taking up too much space.
It's taking up space
Yeah.
away from the positive stuff that's trying to fit in, but we won't let it fit in because we like to fill it with negativity. Like some folks like to watch the news.
I can't do it.
The whole that,
I can't do it.
right. And some people watch the news over and over and over again.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you talk to them, they're like, man, the world's about to end.
Right.
They tell you everything that's bad happened over the next. And look, if you can take that and then put it in a little small corner and not have it disturb your peace, then hey, more power to you. But most folks, I know I have not even attempted to do that because I just don't want that in my mind space.
Some stuff is important to know, but most stuff is really not.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, do your best to get rid of the negative. Right, Janelle? Okay, good. So stop watching the news.
Do you want to come let us know anything that you do to protect your peace? You want to come from behind the camera?
She said she doesn't watch the news. That's one.
Okay.
What
What
else?
else?
We're going to get her in front of this camera one day. One day.
One day.
So
We will.
I got one more.
Okay.
One more. We got time for one more. So this one is a tough one for me. And I believe it's probably tough for a lot of people. And if you're not careful and it's disturbing your peace, then it's disturbing your self-talk.
Okay.
Because if you have lack of peace, you're probably saying things to yourself that are not positive. And it is, remember, we cannot change people.
Wow.
And this is a big one, especially with family and friends, because sometimes you want it so badly for other people. And it disturbs your peace because you want it for them even more than they want it for themselves.
Right.
And so now your peace is disturbed. Not only, and sometimes their peace isn't. Here's the thing. Sometimes they're actually happy with what they have and where they are. You just want it more for them. So now your peace is disturbed because you're like, I just want them that, but it's their choice.
Yeah, but you have to put that away. You have to lock it away because if you care about the person and you care about the relationship, you just pray and hope that it shifts for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's not a great place to be. And then sometimes you get to a situation where you may not be able to associate with them for a certain amount of time. And that's where it gets tough.
Yeah.
Right. Because if it's really disturbing your peace, watching it happen, how do you maneuver around that?
I know.
Right.
I know.
So you have to really make sure that you're focusing it on, like, again, what's good and what's right and what's true.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I think it, goes down that lane. We've talked about it before, one of our episodes, intentionality. Like you are intentional about it. And in my line of work, it's really hard because the lines cross. So the people who start as business partners, because I work with them so often, they become friends.
Right.
Some of them because
Yes.
we travel so much together,
Right.
and you get to know their kids. You get to know the things that they've been through in life, and you've been there with them when they've gone through some things, gone through divorce and gone through deaths and gone through marriage and gone right. So you're with them, so they truly become family. In some cases, I may even talk to some of them more than I do some of my blood family.
Right.
And so in my line of work, that becomes tough because now the lines are blurred and I'm wanting it for them so badly,
Right.
but they're not doing what's necessary to get what they say they want. And now that disturbs my peace, I'm like, how do I get them to actually move in a direction to actually achieve the goal that they told me they wanted, but maybe they don't want it as much as I thought they wanted it. You know what I mean? So it's tough because I don't know everything. I don't know everything they're going through because not everybody shares everything they're going through.
Yeah, but you have to appreciate and get to a point where you realize it's not your job. Right? You can't.
That's what you just said. You can't. My job is not to change people. You
can't change them.
I can only inspire and motivate people to decide to change themselves.
Yeah, so you can't allow that to disturb your peace. You take what you love about them and love them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And don't let it bother you.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I needed it. And I needed this episode. No, but that's good, right? Because
it's okay.
And I know this, and I even teach it, right? You can't change people. You can only inspire and motivate people to make a decision to change themselves. And until they decide, you know what, I do want more, I do deserve better, and I'm ready to change to make that thing happen, I can't change them. Yeah. And maybe in some season, based on certain things that happen, it causes them to say, you know what, now is my time.
And either way, you'll be there for them because you love them.
Yeah.
As business partners, friends, and family, whatever the space is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And guess what? I'll be more equipped to help them because I've been protecting my peace.
You got it.
Right. So protect your peace, guys. And watch how you shift the things you start saying to yourself. And of course, when you shift the things you say to yourself about yourself, watch how you attract better things for yourself.
I love it.
Thank you for listening to the Self Talk Podcast with Darnell and Tracy Self. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you next time. And remember, talk good to yourself.